In this episode, we are going to cover the rest of the Zoho ecosystem, the apps that complete the operating system around your business. We are going to start with people and internal operations such as HR, recruiting, onboarding, offboarding, and so on. Then we are going to move into collaboration and internal productivity such as email, chat, file management, knowledge base, and team communication. After that, we are going to go over analytics, decision making and reporting, dashboards, and how leadership gets visibility across departments. And finally, we are going to touch security administration and platform tools, the application that makes everything stable and secure. The goal is simple. I want you to understand what each app is typically used for inside the business so you can make an educated decision about where to place each application in your own setup. This is actually my 7th Zoho One video I've created in my career. And every year that I'm creating a Zoho One video, Zoho adds more applications, more use cases, and we as a company have more experience. So I hope you will enjoy this session. Now, quick intro in case this is the first video you see from me. My name is Lior Isaac. I am a business automation specialist and the founder of Amazing Business Results. We are a premium Zoho partner with offices in the US, Canada, and Europe, supporting small and medium-sized businesses since 2013, and we currently hold the most 5-star reviews in the Zoho world. And one quick note on the structure. This is episode 4 of a 4-episode series about Zoho apps, where Zoho One is a subset of this ecosystem. Episode 1 is the business case, the real problem Zoho One solves and why companies choose it. Episode 2 is the revenue side, sales and marketing. Episode 3 is operations and finance, what happens after a deal closes. And episode 4, this episode, we are going to talk about the rest of the Zoho One apps and the ecosystem. On the screen, you will see a timeline with all the applications we are going to cover in this episode. So if you want, you can jump directly into any specific application, or you can stay with me and watch the entire episode end to end. I also recommend you to save this video for later use. A lot of customers come back to those videos as a reference point when they are designing and improving their Zoho setup. And if you find the content useful, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon so you don't miss the next episodes. All right, let's start with the people side, and the first application is Zoho People. Zoho People is Zoho's HR platform, but in the real world, most companies don't use it for everything HR on day one. Most of the clients we work with use Zoho People for high-impact daily workflows. Number 1 is time tracking. Employees can clock in and clock out from a mobile device or desktop, and the business gets clean attendance records without chasing spreadsheets or manual logs. Number 2 is time off. Employees request days off inside the system calculates balances automatically, and the managers can approve or decline with a clear process. That alone removes a huge amount of back and forth, and honestly, this is about 90% of our customers' usage. They use Zoho People mainly for attendance and time off, and it already delivers tons of value. Now, the other 10% go deeper. They use Zoho People for broader HR workflows like quarterly or yearly reviews, HR documentation, and more advanced employee processes. And depending on region and requirements, payroll-related workflows can also be part of the broader HR setup. So the best way to think about Zoho People is simple. It can be a full HR system, but it's also perfectly fine to start small, clock in, clock out, time off, approval. Those two use cases alone give most businesses immediate control and consistency, and then you can expand over time as the organization grows. Next is Zoho Recruit. Zoho Recruit is a fantastic system, and what makes it especially powerful is how well it works with the other Zoho applications like Zoho CRM, Zoho People, and automation tools. In our own company, we use Zoho Recruit in a very specific way. We are recruiting all the time, even when we don't urgently need resources. Because the goal isn't only to hire fast, the goal is to always have a pipeline of candidates. With Zoho Recruit, we can create job openings and have them automatically published to job boards in the geographic areas we choose. So the system is consistently bringing candidates in. And when you connect Recruit with automation, you can qualify people before they even reach your team. So instead of getting hundreds of random applicants, you can filter the process down to 10 or 15 candidates that already passed the basic requirements you care about. And this is how it's being done using the assessments. That's the big shift. Recruiting stops being noise and becomes a controlled funnel. And then you build a pipeline of candidates, qualified candidates. So when you actually need to hire, you're not starting from scratch. You already have a list of people who already showed interest in your company and completed a few assessments that you see it as the basic need before they see a human. Now, once someone already being hired, Zoho Recruit can push the person into Zoho People, the HR system. So the moment a recruit becomes an employee, they can automatically start their onboarding using the HR system, where there you will have all the details, employment agreement, their salary, vacation days, everything is set up properly. Now, here's another advanced use case we implement for customers. Some companies sell projects in Zoho CRM that require resources they don't currently have. So when a project is sold, the business instantly has a staffing gap. In those cases, we can automate the process. A deal is closed in Zoho CRM that will trigger the creation of a job opening in Zoho Recruit. The recruiting process starts automatically, and when someone is being chosen on the recruiting side, it will automatically push it into Zoho CRM as a candidate on record. And now the CRM is reconciling the job and letting everybody know that we have a winner. Just to summarize things, for us personally, Zoho Recruit is the same like Zoho CRM. Zoho CRM always wants to bring more people to buy things. For us, Zoho Recruit, it's a system that we are always hiring and always building pipelines of quality and qualified recruits, which is super important for our business. The next application will be Zoho Connect. Zoho Connect is Zoho's internal collaboration hub, and in our company, it's the main place we use to keep everybody aligned. Instead of updates being scattered across emails and chat threads, we use Zoho Connects to notify the team about what's happening across the business. For example, when we want to ask the team something, we'll run polls directly inside Zoho Connect. We also organize the company into departments and groups. Each group has its own space, and inside that space we keep manuals, files, knowledge relevant to that department and more. Now, for some people it sounds simple, but it solves a huge problem, because when information is scattered, people ask the same questions again and again. A real example in our company is pricing and menu information. People kept asking questions about our services and pricing. So we created a dedicated file inside Zoho Connect that includes the full menu and pricing. Now the team doesn't need to ask anymore, they just go to the source of truth. We also use Zoho Connect for something we call growth sessions. These are company-wide sessions where we meet the team to discuss growth, what's happening in the world, why certain things are changing, and how we can become more than what we are. In those sessions, we have videos, discussion groups, and learning materials. And all of that is managed inside Zoho Connect. So Zoho Connect is not just a communication tool, it becomes a knowledge hub, a culture hub, and an alignment hub. And when you have that kind of a system, the company execution becomes smoother because people have clarity to access specific information as needed. Next is Zoho WorkDrive. Zoho WorkDrive is one of my favorite Zoho apps. And honestly, it's easily in my top 5. And yes, on the surface it looks like a premium online files and folder system, but that's maybe 10% of the system. WorkDrive is not only for storage, it can record your screen and save it, it can support automation around files and folders, it can process Excel files and documents, and it can run workflows that push structured data into systems like Zoho CRM and others. Let me give you a real example. We had a customer that needed to bring massive amounts of data from multiple vendors. Each file contained over 10,000 records, and there were many files like that. Doing it manually would be impossible, and even doing it semi-automatically would create errors. So we automated the process. We pulled the files directly from all the vendors into a folder in WorkDrive automatically. Then a script ran over those files, parsed the information, processed it, and pushed the information into Zoho CRM. And the result was precision of 100%. That's the kind of thing that changes operations, because WorkDrive becomes the intake layer for data, not just a player where you store it. Now, let's talk about capacity, because this is another reason why I love it. Zoho One comes with a lot of storage out of the box. You get 5 terabytes of storage for the first user, and every additional user that you will have will add 600 gigabytes in addition. In our company, for example, we record everything, which means every meeting that ever conducted, every phone call, everything in our company is being recorded, and everything is being uploaded into WorkDrive. So you can understand that we have insane amount of data, and we have also 30 employees. And for the 30 employees, we are not even halfway to finish our storage capacity. So WorkDrive isn't just a file system. It becomes a company memory, a knowledge archive, and an automation engine when you use it properly. Bottom line, I think it's a fantastic application. The next application is Zoho Mail. Zoho Mail can do many things. So Zoho Mail, first of all, it's a very advanced mail system. You cannot compare it to Gmail or Outlook or any other email platform out there. Imagine that you're receiving an email. You have the ability with a click of a button to create a lead from this email, create a ticket from this email, create a task in your project system. It integrates with all the Zoho applications. So a click of a button can create super important automations. In addition, let's say that you want to talk about one email with team members. You don't need to forward them the email. You can just have a chat and communicate about the email with more people without forwarding it. You have a way to create lots of security and lots of privacy-related actions that are not even possible with other companies. You have tons of abilities. Now, some people love Zoho Mail. Some people don't like it because it is a very advanced mail system. What I recommend people, try it. Now, in my company, we tried Zoho Mail. We've been on Gmail. We tried Zoho Mail. For someone like me, I'm a Gmail guy. I like Gmail. I'm always with Gmail for a billion years. I'm way too old to change the way I work. That's me. But most of our team members, about 80% of them, wanted to stay on Zoho Mail. So we have two domains, amazingbusinessresults.com on Gmail, while amazingbusinessresults.ca on Zoho Mail. So we operate with two different mail systems. There is a way with Zoho Mail to try the application and use it, even if you are on Gmail, Outlook, or other mail systems. So you can do that. On our channel, there are videos on how to do it. I really recommend you to try it before you go full in on Zoho Mail or you're saying it's not for you. The next application is Zoho Analytics. Zoho Analytics is a super powerful tool. In its basic form, it lets you build reports and dashboard with drag and drop, and it does a solid job. But once you really know how to use it, it becomes a beast. And the reason is simple. It's not only about charts, it's about merging multiple data sources and giving leadership one picture. Here's a real example from my world. I am running multiple companies, and some of those companies will have multiple legal entities. As an example, Amazing Business Results is one CRM system with 3 different Zoho Books accounts. Each Zoho Books is related to a different country, right? So you have 3 legal entities. Imagine that I have one dashboard that shows me the data coming from CRM, the information from all the finance systems, and I also have Zoho projects in the mix. So I can see, for example, how much we earned for a project that came from a marketing source to CRM, the deal cost plus bonuses and everything else that cost me, plus operations cost in Zoho projects, and comparing it also to the invoices and the payments against it. I can see all that with one dashboard, right? Super crazy. Now, Zoho Analytics can also work with SQL statements, which means if you have developers, they can create insane reporting using Zoho Analytics. Now, we as a company, obviously, we are doing SQL because we are all developers. In our company, we have one individual that is a business analyst, and he's specializing in Zoho Analytics. He can create anything that you can dream of. This is bottom line, my playground is meeting with this individual and understanding what he can do next with Zoho Analytics, and then we are creating crazy reports. So that's my playground. The next application will be Zoho Desk. Zoho Desk is a very strong support system, and we have a lot of experience with it, like the other Zoho applications. What I really like about Zoho Desk is that it lets your customer communicate with you with any channel that they like. For example, some customers will like to send you Telegram messages, Facebook DM, emails, text messages, or going to your portal and sending tickets. All those channels eventually will come to the system as tickets. Your team is going to work on the tickets, and whenever they're responding to the tickets, they will go through the same channels that your customer communicated from. So the customers are using what they love the most, when your company is using what they need the most, which is accountability and the ticketing system. Now, one more thing that you can do with the Zoho Desk, you can create multiple departments. As an example, I might have one department for AI with some individuals, but I will have a completely different department for the Zoho things that we're doing. So each one of those departments will have different people, different rules, and so on. One more thing that I really like about Zoho Desk is the ability to segment your clients. I know it's not nice to segment clients, but eventually most companies will have 20% of the clients contributing to 80% of the revenue. In those cases, those 20% of the clients that keep your company working need to receive special service. And in Zoho Desk, I can create different SLAs for customers that are regular customers and VIP customers. So this is something super important. Except that Zoho Desk allows you to create automations and workflows, notifications. A really nice system. I really recommend you using it. And the biggest thing about Zoho Desk is the integration with CRM. Imagine that you have now an account manager. The account manager needs to contact your customer before they need to renew an agreement. Instead of the sales manager or the account manager calling the customer blind, they will go to Zoho CRM, they will check the account, they will see that the account will have multiple open tickets. Instead of saying, hey customer, do you want to buy more? When the customer is currently in support cycle and is not happy, they will say, hey customer, I just saw that you have a bunch of tickets open. Can I give you a hand with it and close it for you? And then the customer sees you as a Superman, and that will close you the next deal, no problem at all. The next application will be Zoho Vault. Zoho Vault is a very strong application. The goal for Zoho Vault is to make sure that all your passwords, credit cards, bank accounts, all the sensitive data lives somewhere. From time to time, you will need to share details with people in the company. In most companies, those sensitive details are going to be on spreadsheets, notes, memory. Each person will have his own password manager, and the company is losing track of those assets. Also, what do you do when an employee is leaving the company or when the employee is not supposed to have access to your bank account anymore? In that case, you need to start chasing those passwords, which obviously you can't. Zoho Vault can centralize the passwords, which means I can create a group of accounting, and the accounting group is going to have access to my bank account, credit cards, and accounting system, while my dev team will have access to my Google Analytics and also my WordPress website. The idea is that whenever an employee is no longer with the company, I can click on a button, terminate the access to Zoho as a license, and then Zoho Vault will be gone. Another thing is the ability to share. You can share the password in a way that they can see the password and copy paste it, or you can do it only as a click option, which means they will click on the password, they won't see it. It will log them into WordPress, for example, without seeing the password. So you removing a big problem that people will be shared on passwords, they will copy them, and then they will have it. So Zoho Vault, bottom line, it's a great application. You can also have logs in Zoho Vault. You can see who is using passwords, what they're doing, and much more. The next application is Zoho Meeting. Zoho Meeting is a good application for online meetings, and I want to be very transparent about how I personally use it. I personally use Zoom as my customer-facing meeting. The main reason is simple. Zoom still has superior video and audio quality. For high-stakes external meetings, that matters to me. That said, there is absolutely a place for Zoho Meeting in the ecosystem. And in practice, my company uses both. In our company, we have over 30 professionals. Only a small number of us have Zoom licenses. Everyone else are using Zoho Meeting. For internal meetings, team sync, training session, and non-customer meeting, we use Zoho Meeting. Now, in terms of capabilities, Zoho Meeting covers what most businesses actually need. You can host scheduled meetings and instant meetings. You can have screen share for demos, training, and troubleshooting. You can manage participants, mute controls, and basic moderation. You can run webinar-style sessions depending on the setup. And you can record meetings when you want to keep an internal archive or training library. And for many of the companies we work with, Zoho Meeting is more than enough. They don't need broadcast level video quality. They need reliable meetings, screen sharing, simple access for attendees, and predictable cost. So when people ask me, should I use Zoho Meetings or not? My answer is always the same. Try it for a week. Use it in real meetings. See if it works for you. In most cases, people are completely fine with it. And when they are, they save thousands of dollars a year compared to Zoom and similar tools. So bottom line, Zoho Meeting may not be the best tool for every single scenario, but as part of the Zoho ecosystem, it's a solid, cost-effective meeting solution, especially for internal collaboration and everyday business use. Next are Zoho Directory and OneAuth. These two applications sit quietly in the background, but they're absolutely critical. Zoho Directory is the identity and access management layer. This is where users live. This is where permissions are controlled. This is where access control all Zoho applications is governed. Instead of managing users separately in every app, Directory becomes a single source of truth. You onboard someone once, you assign roles and permissions, and the access flows across this ecosystem. Now, ZoOauth adds the security layer on top of that. This is where you enforce multi-factor authentication, things like one-time password, push notification, biometrics, and security policies. And this matters a lot because security is no longer optional. Customers expect it, partners expect it, and regulation increasingly requires it. What I really like about this setup is what happens during offboarding. When someone leaves the company, you don't need to remember 10 different systems to close. You disable the user once, access is removed everywhere. Email, CRM, files, chat, support, everything. That's how I protect company data properly. So Zoho Directory and OneAuth are not flashy tools, but they are fundamental. They're what make the rest of the Zoho ecosystem secure, manageable, and enterprise ready, even for small and mid-sized businesses. The next application is Zoho Notebook. Zoho Notebook is one of those applications that sounds simple, but becomes incredibly powerful once you actually use it consistently. And I will say this very clearly, I use Zoho Notebook religiously. It's always on. What makes Notebook great is the flexibility. You can create categories for notes. You can organize notes by project or customer. And within each note, you can create different formats: text notes, checklist, audio, notes, images, videos, and more. That flexibility matters in real life. When I am meeting customers, I always have Zoho Notebook. When I am working on personal things, I always have Zoho Notebook open. When I'm creating online content like this one, I will always manage it in Zoho Notebook. So instead of ideas and notes being scattered across devices and apps, everything lives in one place. And over time, that becomes a huge productivity advantage. Because when information is captured properly, you don't lose it. Zoho Notebook has honestly become one of the best helpers I've ever used. It's not complex, but it's reliable, flexible, and also works both on my desktop and mobile devices, and all this information is being synced perfectly. Next is Zoho Learn. Zoho Learn is the knowledge and learning management platform in the Zoho ecosystem. And this is one of those apps that companies usually adopt after they feel pain. Pain from onboarding taking too long, pain from people doing things differently, pain from knowledge living in many places. Zoho Learn solved that by giving you a structured place to document how your business works. You can create manuals, processes, standard operating procedures, training content, internal courses. Instead of explaining the same thing again and again, you document it once. And then every new employee starts from the same baseline. Now, here's a very practical use case we implement with clients. Some companies have repeat roles that they hire all the time. Sales reps, cold callers, appointment settlers, support reps. In those cases, we often advise them to build a Zoho Learn course as part of the onboarding filter. On the employee's first day, they take an online course in Zoho Learn. They watch the content, learn the basics, and answer questions inside the portal. And only if they score, let's say 90%, do they proceed to the next step. This sounds strict, but it's incredibly effective because in many companies, you can tell within 2 or 3 days if someone is a good fit without investing weeks of management time. Zoho Learn helps you filter early, consistently, and fairly. And behind onboarding, Zoho Learn can also become a knowledge hub, a place where you keep your company knowledge base, internal documentation, policies, training, and everything that people need to operate consistently. So Zoho Learn isn't just training software, it's a scale tool. It protects knowledge, speeds up onboarding, improves consistency, and helps you build a company that runs the same way, no matter who joins the team. The next application will be Zoho Assist. Zoho Assist is the remote support and remote access tool in the Zoho ecosystem. This is what you use when you need to help someone right now without being in the same room. Instead of trying to solve issues over email or saying, "Send me a screenshot," Assist lets you connect securely, share screen, and troubleshoot live. For internal IT, it's a huge time saver. For service companies, it's a huge customer experience win because problem gets solved faster and customers feel taken care of. Zoho Assist supports secure remote access, attendance session, file transfer, and screen sharing. And once you use it properly, you realize it's not just a convenience tool, it's an operational tool. It reduces delays, it reduces misunderstandings, and it helps teams standardize how support is being delivered. So Zoho Assist is one of those quiet apps in the ecosystem, but for any company that supports customer or supports internal teams, it's one of the fastest ways to improve service quality and response time. The next application will be DataPrep. Zoho DataPrep is data cleaning and preparation tools in the Zoho ecosystem. This is what you use when you have messy data and you want clean system and trustworthy reporting. Because most businesses don't have a software problem, they have a data quality problem. Vendor files come in different formats, spreadsheets have duplicates, names are inconsistent, phone numbers and addresses are messy, fields doesn't match, and then people blame the CRM or dashboards. But the truth is, garbage in, garbage out. Zoho DataPrep helps you clean, transform, and standardize the data before it enters the business system. You can map columns, validate values, remove duplicates, normalize formats, and build reliable data pipelines. So instead of doing data cleanup manually every time, the process becomes automated and consistent. Data prep becomes especially valuable when it connects to Zoho Analytics and Zoho CRM, because once the data is clean, dashboards becomes accurate, reports becomes trustworthy, and decision making become based on reality, not guesses. So data prep is not an app you use every day, but when you need, it saves massive time, prevents mistakes, and protect the quality of your entire operation. The next application is Zoho RPA. The Zoho RPA is a robotic process automation tool. This is what you use when the process you want to automate involves systems that don't integrate with anything, such as legacy software, old desktop apps, vendor portals, websites with no API, manual copy-paste workflow. In many businesses, those manual steps become the hidden cost of operations. Someone logs into the portal every morning, downloads a file, copies the data into a spreadsheet, uploads it somewhere else, update the CRM manually. It works, but it doesn't scale. Zoho RPA is designed to automate those repetitive rule-based tasks using bots. Bots can follow a defined sequence, do the same clicks every time, extract information, push information, copy information. It's doing exactly what a human would do with 100% precision. Now, I want to position RPA correctly. If you have a direct integration is still the best option. It's cleaner and it's most stable. But when direct integration isn't possible, RPA becomes a powerful bridge that keeps the business moving without adding headaches. The next tool is Zoho Vani. Zoho Vani is a visual collaboration platform, an infinite canvas where teams can think, plan, and align visually. This is the kind of a tool you use when words aren't enough, when you need to map processes, design a roadmap, plan a project, brainstorm a campaign, or run a workshop with a team. Most companies do this kind of work using a mix of whiteboards, screenshots, slides, and random documents. And then the session ends and the output disappears. Zoho Vani solved it by making the visual plan the asset. Everything stays on the canvas. You can organize ideas, move pieces around, connect concepts, and create a clear structure for the outcome. And it's very useful for leadership and operations because visual planning reduces misunderstanding. People can literally see the plan, they can see dependencies, they can see priorities, and they can see how work should flow. So I see Zoho Vani as a great tool. I personally use Zoho Vani for everything. I'm a big believer that flowcharts are a way to present ideas, because the smartest person in the world can read flowcharts, but also the most non-educated person can read flowcharts. It's a universal tool that everybody can read. And that brings us to the end of the series. Across 4 episodes, we walk through the Zoho ecosystem end to end. We started with the business case, why companies choose Zoho, and what real problems Zoho One solves. We moved into sales and marketing, how revenue is generated, the operations and finance, and how delivery, billing, controls are actually working. And in this episode, we covered the rest of the Zoho ecosystem: HR, collaboration, analytics, security, and platform tools. The goal of this series was never to do a feature tour. It was to show you what's possible, what's realistic, and how Zoho works when it's designed as a system. I shared with you real use cases, real stories, and real trade-offs. And obviously, if you need help with the Zoho ecosystem, feel free to reach out. We work with companies in different ways. Some need help with a one-time implementation or specific project. Others work with us as their Zoho team. Instead of hiring one Zoho developer who knows one or two applications, they work with us, their Zoho department. They get architecture, implementation, automation, and ongoing support across the entire Zoho ecosystem. And in many cases, it costs less than hiring a single full-time employee. If you find this content useful, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon so you won't miss future content. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next session.